Welcome everybody to our March 3rd Facebook Live update for North Tonawanda City Schools. We are here today on our usual Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Just got done watching Governor Cuomo give some updates and some promising news. So I know we get a lot of questions about school and reopening and social distancing and guidance, and I guess one of the promising things I can report is that we do talk to the Department of Health weekly, all the Niagara County superintendents and Orleans County superintendents, and we're starting to see with the COVID cases coming down and more vaccines being given, that they are starting to lighten up on some of the restrictions. So that's good news for us. That didn't happen yet today, but it's good news that something in the near future could happen that will affect New York State schools. So we're looking forward for that. And we hope that we can keep the rates down and low, and we also have to watch out for that variant that they talk about to see where we'll be in the near future. But some good things happened today. Some things here in North Tonawanda that I want to make everybody aware of is that with the nicer weather, we're hoping to give tours again of our recently updated Wall of Fame area on Meadow Drive. And there'll be 2 dates for tours, which are March 10th and 24th from 4 to 7 p.m. And if you go to the Facebook North Tonawanda Hall of Fame page, you will see where you can make a reservation to come, because we still have to keep the limit of people a little bit lower there, although that's one of the things that will be starting different in April as far as people in attendance indoor and outdoor, that the governor said today. It'll start on April 2nd. But so for these dates in March, the 10th and the 24th, if you'd like to come see the new windows or the touch screen, or even hear about some of the future improvements, you can come and do that on March 10th and 24th. Coming up at the end of this month, which starts Monday the 29th, is our spring recess, which goes through April, but we will still be doing breakfast and lunch pickups, giveaway for those breakfast and lunch people who need that, on the Monday and Wednesday at the same time and same locations. So even though the schools are not in session, the food service will continue on Mondays and Wednesdays through that March 29th and 31st, and then April 5th and 7th are the dates for that. So no change in that. We're getting ready to wrap up our pre-K and kindergarten registration for next school year. Very important that you register early, especially for pre-K, because there's usually a waiting list for that, and we do a lottery to get in there for our full day and half day program that we offer. So there are some sessions for registration available even this evening if you go online, but they also added some into next week, so you can take advantage of that. So please, if you know anyone with someone who will be 4 or 5 by December next year and they have not registered for school, please encourage them to do that. Right now, the governor had come on and said, we know that there's a travel restriction, so if you do not just travel in New York State or the contiguous states around us, that you had to get a test before you came back and then test again in 4 days. And his conference today, which has not been put out in writing yet, but we assume it will be later today, said that if you had both doses or a single dose that's coming of the vaccine for Johnson & Johnson, and you're in the 90-day window, and you're past 10 days from your second shot or first shot of Johnson & Johnson, you would not have to do that test before you come back and the quarantine when you get back, which is good news for people who need to travel for work or want to take a small vacation. So hopefully we'll be able to post that as well very soon. It was just announced, like I said, within the hour at the state level, and we will be following the state rules. So as they change, we change. If you are a parent or a student who plays sports here, and we're coming up with some spring sports starting, we have some sports got moved because they were not allowed in September, and we're going to try and get everything in this year. But if you should test positive for COVID, there's a whole protocol with your pediatrician or their doctor that they have to go through before they can return to play. So just keep that in mind. It's not just a simple quarantining. There is a physical to make sure that their lungs weren't affected in that to return to play. There'll be more information posted on return to play protocol on the website as well in the coming week. But I want to put that out there for people because sometimes they say, well, we didn't hear about this. And again, it's something newer and it doesn't affect everybody, only our sports players. But they want to make sure that they're safe and there's no residual effects from being positive with COVID-19. The other thing that I've been mentioning is that at the state level, we're still waiting to hear what they're going to do with the Regents Exams. We know that all school districts across New York State take the Regents Exams, not just North Tonawanda. And some districts have not started school yet. Some have been in full remote. Some have been in a different hybrid model than we have. Some are in the same model as us. And so all that information is being shared with the regions in Albany. I do think that there will be a lessening of some Regents exams, but right now it's not clear. They have a meeting later this month in March where they'll make that final decision. And they're talking about maybe some basics to get some baselines and giving the Regents like a math, English, science, and social studies. So we'll see what comes out of those meetings that are being held later this week and early next week. So don't, well, as soon as I know, we'll post it for sure. It's kind of going back and forth now with what they want to do. There are some in much favor of giving exams to see where kids are and how much they're behind the 8 ball. There's others who say it's not fair, it's not been a normal year, how can we, hold these kids back or hold them accountable when they haven't had the access to the information in a normal year. So those are things that are coming up here in North Tonawanda and across the state. Of course, we're not an island, right? We have to follow what everyone else is doing. So here we're showing that someone has a positive case of COVID, so it's still out there, and that's what the governor said in his announcement today as well, that the numbers are getting better, but don't go crazy because then they come up and the numbers get bad and then he shuts us down again. So we want to keep wearing masks, keep being socially safe, and hopefully get this under control. Okay, with the small chance that schools may be opening more, is the district helping to make sure all teachers who want to be vaccinated get one? It can be hard to find an appointment with them teaching all day, and they can't be online all day stalking sites and stuff. So what happened, for an example, yesterday? They're far and few between, but the Department of Health knew that they got an extra shipment or had extra shots left, and they emailed us, and we emailed the teachers right away, where we know some of our teachers did get appointments for this opening that they had, but they sent it to all school districts in Niagara County. So if they had 400 shots and there's 13 school districts with thousands of teachers, it doesn't go very far. But for the most part, when I talk to teachers or talk to principals who have been talking to teachers, anyone who's been wanting to get a vaccine has been able to get an appointment. Some of those were canceled and rescheduled and they're delayed. We're hoping to see in the near future with the Johnson & Johnson and the 1-dose shot coming, that'll get better and better as we move through it. So all school districts have told the Department of Health that we would take the needed vaccine for our staff and give it to them, but they don't have the vaccine to give us to do that. So the best they can do is alert us when they have extra doses, and they have done that a couple of times. Some of the local hospitals have done that as well too. But again, when they do this, they say we have 100 or we have 200 extra shots. If your people would like appointments, we email our staff to let them know right away. But so is every other superintendent in Niagara and Erie County, so they go fast. All right, this is about the Drake case, so we're gonna skip those. Can a teacher decline to have a student tested through special education of the parental request? I think this is just typed wrong. Of the parent requests it. I think it's if the parent requests it. Given the circumstances, I am doing schoolwork with my child far more than the teacher is. So really, this law defines that. So if there is a parent request for testing, they can be tested. So that's all it needs is a parent request. You can make that with our special ed department, and that the testing will be provided. So someone's saying the exams are not supposed to determine if they pass, right? Otherwise, many will fail. So that's the debate, right? So they're saying, well, why are we giving them if they fail them and then we pass them on anyways, right? And other ones are saying, right, why cause the stress? And others say, no, we want them to count just as much as always. So that's the debate in the meetings where they have to decide how they'll be given, because it won't just be the way NT gives it, be the way the state gives it. And so those are the conversations they're having in Albany now about exams and if they'll count or if they'll just be data points or what's going to happen. Yeah, so this one's asking about partitions so students can be brought back. So in our conversations with the officials through the state and everything, they feel that there'll be a lessening of restrictions that won't require the partitions, which are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to a budget that we try to keep intact here. So we do have some measurements being taken. If he were to say 3 feet instead of 6 feet, that looks promising for all of our buildings. If we then needed to do some partitions in certain rooms that are smaller, that's an option we would take. But right now, to change it up right now and to get those partitions and make sure we still had room for everybody, because it says and there's a lot of debate with that, teachers unions and parents alike, as far as what is safe and how to use those. So we are looking at it though. Let's see. Been dealing with the health department as it got him. Okay, so these people are having a conversation about their family. Is March 22nd the start of the season for sport or the day tryout starts? Let me see if I have that for sure. That's an easy one to confuse, right? I wanted to say tryouts. But I will look that up after I get off and I will post it for you. I'm sure it's on the webpage already. I just have to go and find it, and I don't want to lose the screen by minimizing it and going to find that for you now. But I'll post it in the comments when I get done. The day for tryouts and the day that at the sports start. Can children fail this year? I think again they're saying of tablet, but I think it's if tablet work isn't done. So if work isn't done, that is a success for failing. So yes, the answer would be yes. Now, what does that mean? What grade level? Is there summer school? Is there remediation? How much work was completed? How much was not completed? We look at every child individually for what's the best practice for them to move forward. We try not to hold the child accountable if they're in a household that doesn't promote school as well. We try to work with them and the family that way. So, but not doing work is a good way to fail. Honestly, my daughter cannot learn on the tablet at all, and honestly, I still don't know what I'm going to do, what I'm doing on the tablet. So it's very hard. Sadly, she may have to repeat, or unless there will be summer school. Yeah, there will be summer school of some sort, too. They're working on that. If the state and teachers unions feel the hybrid model and full remote is sufficient, then test them so we can show evidence that it is not working. Yeah, that's someone's idea. Yeah. I mean, isn't that all of their work? Yeah, so I don't know what that one means. Let's see. Let's see. Was never an argument that children can get COVID or not. The argument lies in the severity of cases. Hope your little guy feels okay. Monica. So people are trying to answer the sports question, but it's on the web page under sports, or wait until I answer it so we get the right information. Sign-ups I know have started because I did make that announcement at a global call. I just don't remember the exact dates. So there's someone saying the 22nd is tryouts. We'll go to the web page after this to double check. Jamie, can you answer my question? Let's see where Jamie's question is. So Jamie, this one says, will there be summer school? I said yes. What else did you ask me? Is there another question here? I don't see another question. It ends with, unless there's summer school, they'll probably fail. And I said there would be summer school. Let me just see if I'm missing something there. I still don't know what I'm doing on the tablet, so it's very hard. Sadly, she may have to repeat. Yeah. So I don't know. If there's another question, Jamie, you can retype it and I'll answer it. Let's see. So will summer school be available for elementary age children? I know you're still trying to figure out, but that would be a great option. So it won't be a traditional summer school. What we're looking at is there's a number of districts are talking about we can offer like reading or math academies specifically. That would be 1 week or 2 weeks intensive. It might be a couple hours a day. And we're trying to make it palatable for kids to review, keep them update, catch them up, but not put them through like a whole day of school in the summer. Will summer school be online? So the secondary is where summer school really is going to look like summer school, where you have to get credit recovery to graduate. And from my understanding yesterday, they're still waiting to see what the regulations are going to be, but they're planning for both right now, online and in person, but that could change because it's a few months off. Let's see, there's nothing else there. All right, so I'll just recap a few things to remind everybody. So the open house for the Wall of Fame is coming up. Go to the North Tonawanda Wall of Fame Facebook page to make an appointment. Those are on March 10th and 24th from 4 to 7 p.m. If you are taking advantage of free lunch and breakfast, that will continue through the spring recess, and that will be Mondays and Wednesdays at the same time that we currently do it on Monday and Wednesday. And if you need to register for pre-K or kindergarten for next year, there are still appointments available this week and next week to go online and make your appointment for that. And what else do we have here? So then, right now, we're hearing that the travel guidelines, if you're vaccinated, will be changing. So we'll be getting that up and posted as soon as that's confirmed from the governor's office. And return to play protocol is if you have kids who are playing sports, trying out for sports, and they test positive for COVID, it's not just the quarantining that has to take place before they can come back and play, but there is a physical with their pediatrician that has to take place, and your doctors can tell you more about that. So please take advantage of all those. Someone's saying, yes, a reading initiative would be incredible. Yeah. So, yeah, we're all in the same boat. We're not the only district, and so we're trying to see if we can do something locally as well as there's something regional where we can pull sources so that it's multiple weeks and we can get people to staff it in the summer. Again, we have to see what the guidelines are in the summer, right? So if we're still in some kind of social distancing format in the summer, class sizes would be limited for an elementary program, or they could all be lifted by them, or maybe they're going to be outside under pavilion where, when you're outdoors, it's not as crucial to be socially distanced all the time, but still wear your mask. So a lot of options to look at, and we'll work them out the best we can as we get closer to summer. So don't forget that every Wednesday at 2 o'clock is the Facebook Live with the superintendent. And then on the third Wednesday of every month is an evening one as well, after the board policy meeting. So that is going to be St. Patrick's Day, and that will be Wednesday, March 17th. And it's usually about 7:30 at night after the policy meeting's over. Not an exact time on that because sometimes the meeting goes longer than we think. So if you have further questions, let me know. I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to go to the district webpage and get the exact dates for sports. I'll copy and paste it into the comments so that everybody can see that. And you can do that as well. Okay, if you have a specific sport or a specific season that you want to know the tryout dates and everything, go to the webpage and just look up athletics and it'll be there. No issues with that, or you can give us a call and we'll look it up for you if you don't have a computer in front of you. So stay safe, everybody. Stay strong. Hopefully the positive changes keep coming out of Albany, and as soon as we can, we'll be back up and running as normal as possible. So thank you for your patience, and we will be back next week. Take care.